Film Sports Talk, worldwide, with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed. Now, we might have pretty much witnessed the upset of the year. Upset of the year happened in Britain. Super middleweight division, IBF title holder, James DeGale, gold medalist, was upset by Khalid Truax. Right, guy had lost 3 fights, 1 draw. Massive underdog. Comes in there, walks my man down, takes him in the dog fight, makes DeGale have to fight. And outpoints him, majority decision. One judge had it even, the other 2 had it for Truax. When you get that decision away from home, then you know what time it really was. It means you beat him. Now, James DeGale, is the only fighter. Now, this is something special. Now, you got to imagine, this could really be considered one of the upsets of the year. It could be considered. It's going to be in the conversation for sure, right? But James DeGale will also be in the conversation for fight of the year, because that fight against Badou Jack in January. Think about it. You fight in January, and people are talking about you might have the fight of that year. That means this must have been a real good fight for people to be talking about that. So James DeGale, has been in the news, both sides of the spectrum. Now the thing is, that fight of the year he had with Badou Jack took a toll from him. He had injured his shoulder. What else happened? Something was with his jaw. We haven't heard about that recently, but it's been, I've heard it before. So he had the shoulder surgery, just healed. He feels after this fight, maybe he came back a little bit too early, right? But what happens is you take these so-called easy fights and, your focus might not be there. And that's the thing about boxing. That's what we're talking about. But James DeGale, he hadn't fought at home in England for a while. He's in America, handling his business, signed with Al Heyman, fighting on BBC, things like that. He's not really been to England, so this was huge for him to go back home, fight in front of his fans, and talk a little bit of smack at the guys that are in the WBSS tournament, like Chris Eubank Jr. and George Groves. Basically over there, telling them, hey, whoever wins this tournament, whoever wins this fight between me and you and Chris Eubank or whatever, you 2 guys, then y'all gonna have to deal with me, Mr. James DeGale. Another British dust up, things like that. And you're looking past Khalid Truax, right? A little bit, probably not focused so much, and you're coming off a long layoff, hadn't fought since January, and an injury. This is, one of those precarious situations where you have to pay attention. It's hard to do for some boxers. And the other guy is training with your picture on his punching bag, looking at you, totally motivated. Now Truax telling them, all them fights you was talking about, they mine now. And doesn't he got a point? Because, we don't try to act like we knew Khalid Truax or like we knew he was going to do this. Right? Now, look at that super middleweight division. People not even like Gilberto Ramirez over there, WBC champion. He's going to be hollering at Truax in a minute. Somebody a loser out of that tournament might step out and try to fight him. That winner of that WBSS tournament over there. So Truax going to really not have a problem getting people to want to fight. Now, what Truax should do in this particular time is, seeing as though he's 34 years old, maximize. Whoever throw you at the most money, that's who you fight, period, right now. You don't need to be satisfying nobody and nothing. Worry about you now. Truax had lost 3 fights, but all 3 of them names are somebody that you ain't, pushing up on, or nobody in a hurry. Anybody pushing up on Daniel Jacobs in a hurry? Look at Triple G. He fought him, fight was so close, Triple G said, man, I ain't fighting him I ain't addressing that to 5 or 6 fights down the road, which means never when you're 35 years old. So that's who Daniel Jacobs is. One of the baddest dudes in the middleweight division. Anthony DeGale. And why don't you say any one of the DeGale brothers? You messing with a technical boxer. Pretty good dude. And Jermaine Taylor, too. I think he was a 2-time champion. So those are the guys he's lost to. And I didn't lost to anybody. So, there's a little confidence there in Khalid. So now he's the title holder, and somebody's going to have to holler at him. That's funny. Now, one more thing to this James DeGale thing. When you lose a fight like this, James DeGale, he's up there, 31 years old, been through some wars. But I think you just take some time, get yourself together, and refocus. He'll be fine. But when you don't have those fights, and you be talking about those bigger fights, those guys in between, you have to pay attention to them. This is what the thing is about boxing. I'm looking at these heavyweights not trying to fight, while people think these fights are big. That's when you better take them, because things change. Imagine a James DeGale versus the Chris Eubank Jr. Versus George Groves winner in Britain. First of all, the Chris Eubank George Groves fight is going to be huge. It's going to be a stadium fight. But the winner of that is a stadium fight with James DeGale if he still has his IBF title. Now that fight, James DeGale got to fight against the loser of that fight. And that ain't a fight he want to take, because the loser of that fight might beat him again. So he can't even take that fight right now. He has to go back and really fight somebody else. So that stadium fight is off the cards. That's the danger in not taking fights when the public wants them, demands them. They're saying everyone's not going to be Mayweather Pacquiao. That fight should have happened too way back, but things didn't happen. They got lucky, but that's not going to happen with everybody. So that's not like let's use the Mayweather Pacquiao blueprint. That was a lucky blueprint. There ain't no blueprint. You better fight when the demand is there. So James DeGale, much props to you, man. Fight of the year, upset of the year, shows you both sides of the spectrum. I repeat myself, but go back to the drawing board, and you'll be back. I don't see this being the nail in the coffin for him. I think because of those British dust-ups, he should stay in the game and go ahead and get that rematch against Groves or Chris Eubank Jr. after winning a couple of fights. No big deal. You'll be back. Doma Sports Talk, worldwide, and I'm about here.